Hey, what's up, guys? It is Todd White, and you may know me from Spin Around Sound, seeing me at weddings and corporate events, but I also like to sit down with local business folks and talk to them about their business, what they do, how they can help the community. And today I am happy to say that I am with Haley Matheny at Total Communication here in New Albany. So thanks so much for joining me. Really excited to hear about this. So just so we kind of start off from the top. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My name is Haley Matheny. I'm from the area.
Okay.
I went up to IU for school, have a marketing background. But after some years in marketing, I just decided that it wasn't for me. I wasn't called to stay in that field. So I became a speech pathologist.
Okay.
And kind of am on mission for that here in the community. I'm married.
Okay.
I have 2 children.
Okay.
And we are pretty active in our community, from church to just different endeavors.
Okay.
And we enjoy being involved.
Sure. So you said you are a
Speech language pathologist.
So tell me what that is.
So I use the full term because oftentimes, people refer to it as a speech therapist, speech teacher, and those are all valid. But, there's so much more to our field. We work with babies, we work with the elderly. There's language, there's cognition, there's memory, and it's just a very dynamic field. So we can diagnose and treat speech and language disorders in children and adults.
Okay. So, all right, good. So let me ask this. So you went to IU and you wanted to do marketing.
I did.
And figured out that wasn't
not for me.
That wasn't for you. And then you started this business on your own, correct?
I did.
Okay.
So, the saying, mama knows best. So I went into marketing, and throughout my time at IU, my mom would nudge and say, I really think check out speech pathology. I think this is something you might want to do. So then fast forward some years later, and we laugh about that.
Sure.
Mom knew. So I ended up going into speech pathology, studying that and getting my degree and being a speech therapist. I was so grateful to get a job at New Albany, Floyd County.
Okay.
And I worked within the school system. I worked at elementary, middle school, high school, and really spent about 6 years honing some skills and learning from all the therapists there. But sometime after COVID, I just decided the environment wasn't for me.
Sure.
The workload, the caseload's very high, but the workload is more. And I always felt called with my marketing background to start my own company, to be able to do some things differently. And so I left the school system in 2021, and I started Total Communication in August of 2021.
Okay, so 2021 is when the company started.
Yes.
So, and it's based here in New Albany?
It is. So I operate out of my home in Georgetown, but we service Southern Indiana.
Okay.
And it started with just myself.
Okay.
Driving, early on, I was building my caseload. So I drove to Salem, I drove to Elizabeth, wherever the clientele was. Driving to a client's home to deliver services in the home. Oftentimes it was early intervention, so children under 3, but I would see kiddos that were school age, families that homeschool that couldn't access some of those services. It just has been such a variety, but as I've grown, I have other therapists. So I still drive around Southern Indiana, but I have other therapists that have come on and help, and I have a therapist that just sees after school clients as well.
Okay.
So it's a dynamic offering.
Okay. So do you have to be licensed in the state?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have to have my master's degree, and then you take a test and you get your national license to be a speech pathologist.
Okay.
And then I am also licensed in the state of Indiana.
Okay.
So I can.
So Kentucky at all? Louisville? At all?
I have a Louisville-based therapist, but I
Okay.
do not treat clients in Louisville.
Okay.
I don't believe there's that reciprocity.
Okay.
So
I got you.
because of the growth and having people across the pond reaching out, I was blessed to be able to bring on a Louisville-based therapist as well that sees some clients.
Okay.
So,
Perfect.
yeah.
So Southern Indiana, Louisville, you really got both sides of the river covered there.
Yes.
Okay. So, excuse me, going back to, you said that you help elderly, you help infants, all ages with any type of speech issue, I guess, right? Or
Yeah, you can. What I've decided though with this company is to really focus on pediatrics
okay,
and children,
okay,
but the field itself is very dynamic, and there's therapists that see infants, there's
okay,
therapists that work with the elderly population. When I first started out, again, just kind of like growing my clientele, I did see a few folks that transitioned from maybe a rehab setting home, and they needed help with some things in the home environment. But it seems to be that the child-based population is really where our niche is.
hmm,
So I'm focusing really on children
okay,
and diagnosing children with speech and language disorders. And then I brought on an occupational therapist
okay,
who can help with fine motor skills, sensory motor, attention, emotional regulation skills. Yeah, oftentimes, parents are just looking for research or looking for resources, looking for someone who's knowledgeable and can lead them
okay.
to what's going on. How can I help my
Right, right,
child?
right.
You know,
So give us some examples because like I'm just a dumb DJ. So when it comes to examples like of things that you may see in children that you're like, I can help that, I can help that.
Sure.
What is it that the child is doing that someone, even a parent that's watching, may think, I need this girl and her team in my life because we can change, Billy or whoever it may be. So
Sure.
what are some things that happens with the child?
So typically we have parents reach out for what most people think of with speech, where a child is not pronouncing words correctly.
Okay.
There's different processes that go on. Your child might be saying tup for cup, but they're 4 or 5. That's
Okay.
something that shouldn't be lasting that long. Or a young child is 2 and they're really not saying many words yet. They might not be making many sounds.
Okay.
A child might also be school aged
Okay.
and might be struggling with attention in the classroom, following directions in the classroom,
Okay.
sticking with the schedule.
Okay.
Even children who might be receiving services in the school, parents might want to reach out because they just want a little extra help
Sure. Yeah.
to, boost them along a little bit more to see progress maintain. There's also folks that reach out who their child has trouble feeding themselves,
Okay.
swallowing different textures of food.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it's a pretty dynamic offering.
Yeah. So you said that there you can get help at school, but you can get some extra help from you. But the nice thing is that it would be in the comfort of their own home.
Exactly.
So you go to the client's house, meet with the child, and then you bring different things to work with them, correct?
Exactly. So most moms or parents, caregivers, they have an instinct about their child.
Mm-hmm.
My child's not interacting with me. My child's not pointing at things. If something falls on the floor, my child's not looking and getting excited. My child's not saying mommy or ball or passy. There's things that typically that's what we see the most in the younger population of kiddos. And so then I would come to the client's home. I would bring a evaluation that's standardized. It's got normative data, so I'm able to look at this child and then provide a proper diagnosis.
Okay.
And then after spending about an hour in the home, interviewing the parents, asking questions, observing the child in the comfort of their home, watching their natural behaviors. They pull me into their playroom, or, it's just a really nice atmosphere to get a true picture of what's going on. Then I'm able to diagnose and then create a treatment plan.
Okay.
And so then I offer services to the parents, sometimes once a week, twice a week. Okay. And then we develop a plan to help treat those things and hopefully help the child make progress as quickly as possible.
So I guess does it even happen if a child isn't even speaking at all? Is it just...
Yeah, I actually have worked with several younger kiddos that are about 10 months old.
Okay.
And they had a lot of trouble with their ears, and they were working with an ENT. Mm-hmm. And the mom was a little nervous because the child really wasn't even attending to certain things. And so we can get our hands, dirty with that and just get in there and help the child, even with something called joint attention, mm-hmm. and help with some of those early developmental skills.
Okay.
So it's then, I have a child who went through the school system and he's an adult now. And the family is really hopeful to transition him to some adult living, but they want to get him a little more familiar with his speaking device.
Okay.
And so I'm helping him with some of those skills. Our occupational therapist is helping him with some of those adaptive daily living tasks about getting dressed and making his favorite mozzarella sticks and just making sure he's safe and can communicate his preferences. I've worked with a 13-year-old at his mom's yoga studio, and he had taken a break from therapy. He had been in the schools and they pulled him out to do some homeschool. He was at Community Montessori, and parents were seeing some more communication kind of bubble up. So I created some PECs throughout their home, some different boards. These are picture communications to help him, and we've just seen him flourish.
Right.
And one of the biggest compliments the mom gave me is now them as a couple, as a husband and wife, are communicating better because they now can communicate with their son.
Sure.
And so
it takes a lot of stress off, I'm sure.
It really does.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're providing. Therapy can happen really anywhere, and we need first steps where it's free under 3. They refer a lot of clients because after 3, where do we go?
Sure, yeah.
The schools are a wonderful resource. We have to have all of us working together, but I just felt there was something missing. There's a void in our community, and I thought families deserved another option.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of a next level. It's very individualized and very high quality therapy that we provide.
Well, and then nothing against the schooling, but you're only going to get so much help at a school.
I mean, I experienced it firsthand.
Yeah.
We've got caseloads over 100 students, and you've got some very high quality therapists, but you're only one person.
Right.
And there's other things that sometimes get in the way of therapy. And that's what I've loved about being able to go into the home and make a play-based environment. And I haven't mentioned we go into preschools and daycares, which again is a comfortable, natural environment for these kids.
Yeah.
And I'm able to work with the preschool teachers, even show them maybe how they can redirect their entire class to focus on language goals.
Right.
And it's just been, it's good education.
Well,
and for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. And I have seen firsthand Haley do her work. So you guys may have seen the videos and stuff that we've posted that, I've followed her to some different, preschools and churches and her daycares or whatever, and I've seen you with the kids, and it's almost like you walk in there as Haley, and then when you get with the kid, it's almost like you're 12 again. It's like and that's no disrespect at all, but you get to, I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, you get to their level and really interact very well with them. And I'm just like, whoa, and that's what they need. I mean, you got to have somebody that can, it's less of a teacher and it's more of a friend where you're down with them on the ground, playing, talking, trying to make them communicate and things.
Yeah.
So I've seen this firsthand. So it's very important, I think, that, whenever you get someone to help your child, that you get someone that you pick someone like Haley that can get to their level and not just be a teacher, but be more of a teacher friend that can get into, as I used to say, get into the dirt with them and just, do what they need to do.
Exactly. And because I'm entering into a familiar environment, so much of the heavy lifting, so to speak, is gone.
Yeah.
Because they're like, wow, they're coming into my home. I can trust her. They're coming into my preschool. My preschool teachers know her. I can trust her. And so then it's really about engaging with the child and finding things that are meaningful for them. A lot of our therapy isn't necessarily just flashcards. It's getting to know the child and what motivates the child, what's important in their home environment. Are they struggling to say the name of some of their favorite snacks? Are they struggling to make choices during meal times? Are they struggling to communicate when they're frustrated? What do I need? Why am I getting so angry? Why do I feel sad? There's just so many different things, especially in early childhood. And then with school-based kiddos, sometimes because academics are at the forefront, they're not getting enough therapy. So the child might still struggle. I work a lot with kiddos who stutter. So they have disfluent or kind of bumpy speech, we like to call it. It's an area I feel like I've really gained a lot of experience. And that can be a sensitive thing in the school, being pulled from your classroom. Your friends see you walk down the hallway in fifth grade. And so being able to go into their home after school make different arrangements to just be
That's
more
huge.
discreet. I think
Especially
it's
at
been
that
really,
age.
really beneficial. A lot of those older kids working on that stubborn R sound, where they might say wed for red. So there's different things that we can work on that it is just above and beyond. It is a private model right now. We're private pay. I am hoping here this fall we should be launching Anthem Insurance.
Okay. Awesome.
And I will be opening a very small clinic, but I hope to keep the model very similar where the parents are right there with us watching the therapy take place. It's, I think, really what has built Total Communication is having the parents involved.
Yeah.
That education piece.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've been in a living room and grandparents have been invited over.
Right.
Watch this, see how she's doing this, because they're caregivers too.
Yeah.
And so those skills are carrying over. So the clinic will be similar in that nature. And they're not going to go behind a bunch of closed doors. It's going to be play-based and dynamic, highly tailored to the child and their needs.
Right. So how many therapists do you have now?
Okay, so Louisville, 5.
So you have 5 total?
5 and myself.
Men and women, or just women, or
women,
right now?
Women.
Okay.
So I have an occupational therapist. We have a new therapist starting that's going to cover Corden.
Okay.
I have a speech assistant that is at some of the private schools with me. I have myself and the Louisville-based clinician.
Okay.
And so there's, and I have, 6. Can't keep track. Things are growing.
Hey, that's all right. That's a good thing.
The other one, she's so dynamic, but she actually works for the school system.
Okay.
But she does some after school hours.
Okay.
Everybody is a contractor. And I think what's beautiful about that is my therapists are in it to do the therapy. A lot of us get a job and a career, and we're just so bogged down by all the other things. And the model that I've created, that isn't new. Other states do it. Other communities do it. I just felt like New Albany and Floyd County was missing this service, where you can show up and do the therapy and connect with the children on a different level, to be dynamic, to be playful, to be someone that they trust, and then work on those goals and have that carryover happen.
Yeah. And I think, you kind of nailed it too with that all of your ladies are contractors and they care about what they do. Because I say that same thing about our DJ business. It's like my guys are contractors. It's like, so it's different when you have someone that wants to do what they do versus just going to get a job and getting paid for what they do. So, so that's great. That's great. So you serve New Albany, Floyd County, Clarksville, Southern Indiana. Let's just say that. So Southern Indiana, how many kids is what you guys normally see during the day?
So
I know it differs. Some days may be busier than others. It
varies,
but
yeah, especially with drive time. But, I'm seeing anywhere between 6 and 7 clients a day.
Okay.
Starting at 8:30 and going till 2:30 or 3.
Okay.
We're also, a lot of my therapists were moms or are trying to start families. So we're doing that work-life balance. But I also am able to work full-time, part-time. There's lots of flexibility. So just from a therapist standpoint, there's not a lot of burnout. But I will go into some of the preschools, and I might have 3 kiddos back to back. And then I go in-home. On Thursdays, I'm at Christian Academy all day.
Okay.
And we've got almost any given, every few months someone's graduating, but 20 to 25 elementary kids just on Thursdays, elementary and preschool. I'm at Holy Family. I'm at Rise Academy. I'm at Adapt for Life, which is a center for autism.
Oh, okay.
Trinity. It's just a variety. So it really depends on the day, but most of my therapists are seeing 5, 6, 7 kids a day in and out of preschools and homes, with me all day at a school. A couple of them, like I said, do after school hours, or show up at an after school. We're at St. John Paul, and we go to the aftercare program. Okay. So again, it's convenient. I don't know if we've touched on that very much, but the child's at aftercare already. So we go into that environment, and then the mom doesn't have to worry about getting off work, dragging everybody somewhere, So it really, that mobile piece is not going to go away for us. It's just so convenient, and it does take a lot of the stress away because oftentimes there's other kids in the picture. So having to drag them around. So the clinic's going to be something that I think is very purposeful in nature. I don't see us, having back-to-back clients in that facility. I think it just offers a space for our therapists to have a home base to grab supplies. But then also there are kiddos that do need some of those, just the parameters of a physical learning space, and some of the things that I can have, like sensory swings and light rooms and just some other things, other supports that kids might need that I can't fit in my trunk.
Sure.
We can't drive it to everyone's home, but these types of supports need to be somewhere. And so I think I've just reached that point now that you kind of now's the time to branch out, but the mobile can't go anywhere.
It's
too beneficial.
I think that's kind of what sets you apart from others, is just the mobility that you have. So some of you may have, and it's funny, I've known Haley all my life, I guess, or all her life, because I'm much older than her. But anyways, and I knew she was doing this, but I didn't really even notice that the black, yellow, or black, green, and orange car that drives around. So if you see a black, green, and orange car and you're wondering, what is that?
With speech mouths on it.
Yes. So now you can put it two together. So I've seen you like in town before we started doing, some of this taping and stuff. And I seen this car and I was just like, I didn't never put two and two together. So if you see, what is it? It's a Toyota.
It's a Prius.
A Prius.
It's all that driving. It's good gas mileage.
Yeah, no, I get it. So if you see a Prius running around town that's green, orange,
bright orange
and black with speech mouths all over it, that's Haley.
Me.
So honking way better. So
it's great. And now that the company is getting more traction, and word of mouth has been such a blessing, and all of our clients have just been so grateful. I'll get a new client and they're like, oh, I thought I saw it. So that's you. And people are like, this light bulb goes off, like, that's your car.
Right.
And other times people look at it like, what is that? What are those, red lips on there?
Right.
It's the different positions for speech sounds. But hey, it's a way to get that. It's a moving billboard, and just really emphasizing the fact that we're mobile. And I'll show up to a new client's home and they're like, wow, it's real. It's not just on your website,
Right.
And now some of my new staff members are like, so is everybody going to get one of those? I don't know.
Everybody wants a car.
Yeah. So funny.
Yeah. So ages again. Tell us again. So ages, which is what you guys are working with, is from infants?
Yeah, really infants. Our occupational therapists can do some things there with swallowing even early on. But typically, I feel comfortable saying 18 months. I've done 10 months old. But, a child, a baby.
Not to interrupt. What's the age that normally a parent should be thinking, okay, my baby is...
That's why I say 18 months.
Okay.
Folks are waiting till they're 2 and 3. And
they're way
just
behind.
Firsthand, I can't tell you how important it is. If you have a concern, reach out. We can come in. We offer consultations. $50. We'll come to your home. We spend at least 30 minutes just seeing if there's something more we can provide, if an evaluation is even necessary.
Sure.
And so that's something that I think if you, around 18 months to 2 years old, if there are things that just don't seem right with your child's attention or ability to give you eye contact, to smile when you're smiling, or even just they're not babbling and making those goo goo gaga baba certain noises, please reach out.
Well, that was my next question.
And then all the way up to about 21.
Yeah. That was my next question. Is like, what are some of the sounds they should be looking for, or I guess things that
blowing raspberries, the noises and baba. People are gonna like that.
I know. So just anything that you're noticing, with your child at an early age, like she said, 18 months, if you notice something is off, then you need to reach out to Haley and her team and let them at least do the consultation to where, and they come to you again. So I'm sure you all have heard this, but just to be safe, they come to your place and sit with you, and you're involved, right? The parents are involved.
Right there with us, yes. Okay. With occupational therapists as well. Those things I haven't touched on as much, but even school age kids or younger children that are having trouble managing their emotions, having trouble with their attention, having trouble putting their clothes on, using scissors, if they're holding their crown differently. And that will change on the ages.
Sure.
You know, Courtney Uli is our occupational therapist, and she is so dynamic and wonderful. She could, you know, speak to that more. Hopefully down the road we can have the whole team together and chat.
Awesome.
But, you know, I think just follow your instinct. There's oftentimes I'll get calls from moms that are like, so-and-so thinks I'm crazy, or they're, you know, I'm worried for no reason. You're not worried for no reason. You have a concern, follow your instinct, reach out. I would be happy to help. We've got other therapists that can come too. My wait list is through October, but I have other therapists that are also happy to help. Typically, I do come and do the evaluations, but I'm starting to kind of grow that as well.
Okay.
Just because of the need, and we want to be able to meet that need.
Yeah, so you said reach out. How do they do that?
So our website is totalmobilespeech.com. They can also email totalmobilespeech@gmail.com.
Okay.
They can text me, text and call 812-671-5638.
Okay.
We're on Facebook.
Okay.
Total Communication, no S.
Okay.
I always say no. I'm not in software or anything like that. Total Communication.
Okay, and I'll provide the links on this as well, so they can have. I'll provide the email address so you guys can check her out. Email, Facebook, and all that. So, anything else you want to add that maybe we didn't touch on that you'd like to make sure everybody understands and knows?
I don't think so. I'm just grateful to all those who have. You know, it's always a humbling experience when someone does call and they open their front door to you. There's laundry. The normal things. You walk in, you see it all. And I just am so grateful and humbled every time that someone asks me, or my staff members, the other therapists, to come in and be a part of your family, to be a part of your world, and try to make it a little better and help your child. It's very rewarding. So I'm just grateful.
Yeah, well, you can tell Haley is very passionate about it, and her entire team is you know, they're just focused in on making sure that your child gets the best care that they can. So I want to thank you for hanging out with us today. I want to thank the people and the guys and gals here at The Root in New Albany for allowing us the space to be able to come in a video, so we appreciate that. Check her out online, Facebook, Instagram. I didn't say that. Okay. Facebook, Instagram. Email or text her, whatever you guys need to get Haley and her team in your home, in your daycare, wherever the place may be, to help your child. I promise, I've seen it firsthand. It will make a difference. So anything else?
No, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for joining. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Do us a favor, if you do, like it, subscribe to our channel, and then make sure you share this out so we can get this out to as many people as possible.